Dictor Dan Dave C.
Hello.
Dictor Dan Dave C. Ooh, it's Dave
Here's my
C.
intro. Wow.
Oh
Welcome
boy.
everyone to
Hey folks.
getting down with Dave C. Let me turn the volume off over on my other laptop here. There we go. How's that sound? Sound a little better?
You sound great.
Okay. Yeah, I could just hear. Oh, why is my headphones not coming? You can hear me okay?
I've heard you this whole time.
Okay. It just sounds weird when I'm talking. There we go. Okay.
You're a little quiet on that end compared to me, but
I'll
other
turn
than
it
that,
up
you're
here in a
fine.
second. Let me do
And while he's
my.
fooling around with that, hello to everyone in the chat right now. Looks like we have Buddy Hepburn checking in. Loyal
Yeah.
Wrench. Good evening, sir.
Hey, buddy. There we
And
go.
hey, if you're listening to us on a rewatch or re-listen, we really appreciate it. Make sure you slap like and yeah, kick back, relax, enjoy the show.
Yeah, we are doing. Oh, it's not going to do my volume here. There we go. Does that sound a little better?
Let me see.
My volume.
Great.
Little bit better.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. Okie dokie. We are back for round 2 of the Spectre, and we were pretty happy with issue number 1.
For the most part, yes, I think so. I gave it an A. I think you gave it an A too, didn't you?
I gave it an A with the caveat of being that I don't like grading the number 1 issue, especially because where do you go from there? If it's better, you're only stuck with A plus. If it's worse, you've got the whole gamut to run. But I thought for an intro, it did. This one we shall see. And I always ask you, have you read this one?
No.
Okay.
I always scroll through it to make sure all the pages are there, but I did not read it. Yeah.
I can start to see a little bit of an MO, but we always get those with comic book characters, and it doesn't matter who it is. It's always going to be the same kind of thing. It's just how well can they pull it off. I think this was bi-monthly, if I read it correctly. But we get a new person, Neil Adams, which is very well known in the comic book world. I know Neil Adams actually from Clobberin' Times and Mark, and them talking about Neil Adams on their show. Or Cobby would talk about Neil Adams all the time and show artwork and stuff like that from him. So we get a new art person. Now can't remember if it was the cover or not. But I like this background stuff that they do.
Scary ass cover. I think he's in HE double toothpicks with a vampire right there, yelling at him to expire Spectre again and again and again. So this cover means business.
Yeah, it definitely does. You'll be interested to know where exactly he is. You're kind of close. It is demonic, obviously. You got all these little demons and characters up here. I like that kind of artwork on covers. It adds a layer, a dimension to it, another layer, instead of just, a plain background or something being lazy on covers. And because you don't get that much on the bottom part, but they go pretty straightforward with the cover to tell you what's going on. These two guys are going to go at it. It's pretty basic. Right? And I'm trying to figure out where that other. Oh, you're gonna mention that comic ad, right? Is that what you said?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't this one. So, folks, this week we do have the commercials.
Yeah, we have a few. 1967. Nice.
And I did like that the new planes like the P-40E Flying Tiger from the Sino-Japanese War right there, aka later World War II.
Yeah, Revell. They are very well known. Also did a lot of Battlestar Galactica models. back in the day. They can go for a little bit of money. Not terrible. You can get them for cheap. Sometimes,
And
somebody just wants to get rid of one. You can get an old Viper or a Cylon Raider pretty cheap if you're a
they
good
have
modelist.
the USS Enterprise, no bloody A, B, C, or D.
Yeah. And also, by the way, I might have to keep an eye on the time. StreamYard is keeping me down to 20 hours now.
What?
A month. Yep. 20 hours of streaming live, and then I can't even they won't even hold any, they won't even give me a megabyte of saved stuff as well. But they
Sounds
make
like you
me
need
advertise.
a second email address is what it is.
Well, they want $431.88 for their basic plan. That's on sale, by the way. On sale if you buy it yearly. So I looked it up because I've been complaining about it for a couple of months now. $431.88. And I was like,
if their product was better, I would say, yeah, that seems fair. But anyway,
yeah, they gave me the guilt complex.
You should talk to Nick later on what he's doing. So,
okay,
he may have a solution for you.
Oh, and Buddy says, and Buddy, that I can't highlight your comment without having to back out of what I do because of the way we do the comics here. But I'll try to look over and read it. So Neil Adams did issues 4 and 5. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the monogram Battlestar Galactica models are expensive in built good condition or sealed. Yeah, sealed in the box.
Oh, yes.
They can run a lot.
Yeah.
And they sell.
Yes,
if it's not way overboard. You can get those, and then they sell the lighting stuff too. But with that company, Buddy, remember that Factory Entertainment's coming out with those Vipers and stuff. I'm not doing anything with Battlestar Galactica until they come out with that line and see what's up with that.
Yes, to answer your earlier thought, Dave, the fine print says the Spectre #2, January, February 1968 is published bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly. So they had time. They gave the artists and writers and everybody time to get this stuff out and done. So the stories by Gardner Fox and the art, there's Neil Adams. And I can't think of the Batman one that Clobber and Times might liked a lot. It was an old school one, but it was the redo one. But the old one was so old that the redo one is old. That Neil Adams had done it. I think Neil Adams and somebody else had done it. And he really liked it. I can't think of the number of it. Should have thought of it earlier, so I apologize. And I asked him, Clobber and Times, one of the very few times I got to stream with him, I said, hey, we were talking about 9.8s, and would you want to have a slabbed comic over an unslabbed comic? And then I thought to myself, a real comic enthusiast or even a light enthusiast like me would love to get their hands on a Superman #1 and open it and read it. At least once.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know how nervous I would be to even want to turn the pages of one of those.
Oh yeah, no, it's in like one of those chemistry fume hoods with the glass, and you're wearing the rubber gloves and those types of things.
I have some slabbed ones. I'm like, kind of wasted my money there a little bit. But if I'd had some of the older ones like that, I kind of want to have it at least in some kind of protected shell or something. Sure. So I asked Cobby, which one would you pick? And I kind of knew what he was going to say. And he goes, well, Dave, because I said, would you rather have like a 3.0 of this one or a 2.5 or a 9.0 or 9.2 slabbed? And he goes, I'll take both. So I could read one and have the other one. I was like,
I'd rather have the 9.2 and have it graded and leave it in the box and read the digital.
Read the digital. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I knew Cobby would say that's a tough question for real comic people.
Yeah.
Like Clobber and Nick, Mark, and I know that was a D-Bud. He doesn't slap a damn thing. I don't think. He's got all these, and he's got them all. Where you can read them.
Sure.
But anyway, we should move on because we are
All
on
right.
time constraints, everybody. I've got to keep.
Yes, you are. So would you like me to read the intro here?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go, folks. Spectre number 2. Stage magician Dirk Raleigh had a good thing going for him. While performing before an audience, they supplied him with a perfect alibi for the robberies, simultaneously being committed off stage by his other self. And while Detective Jim Corrigan ran up against a stone wall trying to solve the impossible crimes, his own spectral self ran headlong into the thief, only to fall victim to his eerie powers. E.I.E. Spectre again.
Again, yes. That's a callback to old Jim there being.
I had to change it for YouTube rules.
Sure. Well, yeah, it's okay. Well, some of the things I know we try not to say.
Yes. Yes.
So I would go into the whole Spectre thing again, but we don't have to because they do it for us here in a couple pages, which is really, really nice. Because this is a very interesting character. It's easily explained. Buddy knows the character very well, and I think Phantom and some other people popped in last week and talked about the character and his origins. Don't have to really go into all of that because we'll see that here in a minute. But I like this splash page almost better than the cover. It's got the background. Good. Yeah, it's got the background guy with a little Joker-esque type laugh going on. I like the Spectre's block with his little green hood there in the corner.
They do a good job of having a white void in the background and filling the foreground with entertaining things.
Yeah, this is a great case where the background doesn't need to have anything in it. And I like the intro that you read. Thank you. It was nice. It was good. So
no problem. Let's see.
Basically, I was kind of thinking, okay, we had the guy last week, Captain Skull, who was an ethereal person. Mm-hmm. Well, he was a real person, and then he had the Captain Skull stuff. I'm thinking, I hope the MO isn't going to quite be like that. It is, but you don't really remember last week that much because you kind of pay attention to what's going on here. They do a good job, but they're very verbose. I didn't even look up one word. I have no idea what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Get your dictionary out to figure out some of the words here.
Sure.
Some of the words here are not for kids. I mean, grown-ups don't even know what they are. I don't even know what one of the words are. Never even heard of it. I mean, I was just like completely like, what the hell is that? But anyway, you get to learn something, right? Look it up. Yeah, and then
starts off right with and we're in Gatewall City, and there's a gentleman walking on the street, and this hoodlum says it's a stick up. Hand over your valuables or I'll pew.
Yeah,
and he says, what? You don't have a heater? You want me to have a heater? Presto, you have a heater.
Yeah. I was laughing. I was like, what? What's going on? He doesn't have a GUN. And and Buddy says that the Spectre's orange is grittier compared. That was something you and I touched on last week. That he's supposed to be a really scary character, spooky, gritty, very tough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's a little toned down, I think, or he's going to be toned down for the most part. I have a feeling for this run. I haven't read any of the other runs, but you're absolutely correct. And this is how I know our audience knows comic books. Buddy mentions that he was in the Justice Society, and spoiler alert, because we're going to read it anyway. It gets mentioned here tonight. So there you go, buddy. He knows his stuff.
So next we have a really cool middle piece of this page. I liked it. Just the artwork there I thought was really nice. And
yeah, well, we got Neil Adams now. So let's see.
Now, folks,
you compare it to last week.
I would never recommend this in real life.
No.
My hand is quicker than your pew. No.
Yeah, I think what they meant to do here is that, because he didn't have it in his hand, this dude
it was in his jacket.
It was in his.
It was spring loaded, so it shot forward into his hand.
Oh,
when he pressed see the one above him there, the one in the middle above him, he's pressing the button for it to go into his hand.
I missed that when I read
Yes.
this. Oh, okay. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that either. But this other dude's quick on the draw and punches him. Give a good right cross, man. Look at that form. Wow. Yeah, it is a good artwork. There, just knocks like his head's turned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nice. So this dude here, who I thought was going to be Jim, that was the detective Jim Corrigan, but it's
just a regular gentleman.
Yeah,
and he does the old switcheroo on him too in midair, which I also don't think you're ever going to try that in real life. But here we go.
Yeah, he's like it was a Keanu Reeves character,
John Wick.
Wick. Yeah, he pulls a Wick on him here. Wow. Okay, so I'm thinking,
then the bad guy's like, you're gonna hit me with your heater.
Hit me with your best shot. Huh. So, yeah, well, you never know, but he gets sucker punched.
Yeah,
gets sucker punched in the back of the head, and I'm like, wow.
Is it in the back of the head, or is it? It looks like he hit him on the shoulder.
Is it the shoulder there?
I don't know.
I had quickly read this earlier. You know, how do I go through it? Anyway, he jumps him from behind, and I thought, okay, so this dude on the ground is going to be the bad guy, but nope. There's a double going on here.
There's a no face.
Yeah, like the question. But this guy here, obviously, and we'll just say purple suit or whatever that is. He doesn't know what in the heck's going on. He's kind of freaking out. And
so he's kind of getting bonded with this unusual entity. We'll just say that because we have no idea what it really is.
And his name is Dirk Raleigh.
The original criminal was, yes.
Yeah, this guy here with the gloves on is Dirk Raleigh. And like you said, he's meeting this apparition, basically, or whatever this is.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you're me." And then I'm kind of like, are we doubling up from last week? Because this dude says he's the etheric self. So we have a situation here that, again, these characters, when they split like that, the Spectre, he's not really part of Jim Corrigan. He's like a deep physical presence that was created, like Buddy says, from the voice last week. Okay, here I go again. They're going to explain it here. I should be quiet. I wanted to do it again, but we'll get to it, so I'll skip it. But this guy apparently has kind of the same deal going on. And this is a pretty scary piece of artwork here, this guy's face.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird way of thinking about like spirits or the other worldly. I know YouTube doesn't really like some of that talk. I'll try to keep it, rather grounded, but it seems almost like the triumph of the mind in some way to manifest life.
Manifest.
So it's an odd concept, especially for a comic book. I'll give it that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of happy this is happening in a way. Well, one, I'm happy because it is happening, and I wanted to get some weird type stuff from the Spectre. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had been around since the frickin' 40s, though.
It almost seems kind of like Nietzsche or some of the 19th century kind of guys that are all thinking about like mind over matter type, just odd theories and concepts about self and the spirit and the will of your being and some of these other things. I mean, I don't want to read too much into it, but it definitely has this idea out there that is unique for comic. Definitely.
No, you're spot on, dude. You can totally read into it on these occasions because of the Spectre's origin. Again, one of my other characters I was looking to do with you was the demon Etrigan, Jason Blood, because it goes all the way back to medieval times and Merlin and all that kind of stuff. But those characters are intertwined. Blood actually has to call him out by saying, oh, gone, the form of man. And he does the little thing. Buddy would know this in the chat. You probably know this saying. I can't even remember the Green Lanterns, all of it, because I'm dumb. But I like it. I was only a little bit concerned that they're going to do an MO of this too much, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll give it time.
We'll give it time. Yeah, I like that this spirit here is like really happy about what's going on, and he's creepy. Like you said, I breathe, I live, and yes, he's a manifestation now, but he's taken form, which, like you said, is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of like last week's, but it seems like it's going to be a wee bit different. You know, the last week was like more comic-y. This one seems like more adult type. This guy looking at this, it seems like it will be, but let's see what happens.
It looks like we got a couple more people that are watching, maybe a little silent. That's fine. But if you want to jump into the chat, you're welcome to it. We just started issue number 2 of Spectre, 1967. And welcome for the ride.
Hit that like button. Leave a comment.
Yeah.
So now
he's going to Arkham, which I think is kind of funny. Like I'm going to that hellhole called Arkham.
Well,
like, okay.
Yeah, they call it the town of Arkham. And it was really glad you brought that up. I totally missed it because I went on a little tangent there. And that's a very interesting place. He calls it a lot more than that later on. Because, you know, we have Arkham Asylum, obviously. This is DC. So everybody knows DC. We know what Arkham is. Knows what Arkham is.
Yeah.
And if you're new.
By this point, we know.
And if you're new, Arkham is where they put the Arkham Asylum. It's a town, basically, kind of.
Maybe he's going to go do some of his weird doings at the Hacienda. Who knows?
Yeah. And did we miss the part about a watch or something? I'm going back. Sorry, everybody. No. Okay. Because Jim was looking at his watch here and I got confused with something else.
Hail to FKHC 2005.
Hey, is this the donkey show? Yeah, it is. We charge admission 15 pesos. Let me type in the hell to you. Oh, so I screwed it up.
Sometime later, there's the crimes start, right?
Yeah, well, the main character
on the title page.
You're correct, right? The impossible crimes. So the main character here is Jim Corrigan, and we have a redhead. We have redhead characters, and we depart from the all blue except for the bad guy. And I don't know if you noticed this, that all these characters are redheads except the bad dude, maybe one or two other side characters. We get away from all blue that we were getting before and an occasional different color hair. So you can pull it off, especially with redheads, apparently. Which is fine by me. You know, I like her.
Well, so we got Buddy Hepburn here, looks like.
Yeah. Well, Jim, the guy, okay, if you look at the middle panel, Jim is standing there in his with his hands on his hips there, he's talking to these people from the bank. Mm-hmm. He's a detective, for everybody who missed last week. And he's doing detective work. He's also, the Spectre is his manifestation of his when he passed away, because he, remember, JT and everybody, he's DEA dead. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
He is actually
alive.
Kind of, well, he's alive. No, he was DEA. The ghost apparition type is a manifestation of his DEA. It's a little complicated with this guy.
Yeah.
But he's not like Demon Etrigan. It's separate. And you can see it here. And I'm sorry, we're looking at this bank got robbed, JT.
It was open before the release timer, and there was a chest sealed with wax, and the wax was undisturbed, but some jewels were removed.
Correct. Impossible type stuff going on here.
Yes.
But old Jim here, he's worried about his date with Mona. I'm like, cool, the dude got to socialize. Go for it, dude. I can't remember last time I had a date.
There's no clues.
No clues. It's just gone. Now, the only thing I can't figure out is how they knew it was gone until they opened it up. Did you catch that?
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe he would say something about that, but he let it go. That's fine. There's a little faux pas there that I caught on to, and I was like, I'll just let it go.
But he's not so dedicated that he's not going to have a life, which is kind of, it's just nice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that part of it. He's not like Batman, Bruce Wayne. Well, screw everybody until I get my stuff done. I got to go patrol, even though it's, I mean, Bruce would go on dates every now and then, but he was forced to a lot of the times to do it for looks, not because he wanted to, but he couldn't allow himself to. This guy doesn't care. He's like, I'm going on this date. I ain't worried about this shit. I'll deal with this later. So I thought that was kind of funny. I liked it. I like this art, this upward type scene, because Spectre is swooping down from the roof, and it's kind of like a good camera shot. It just shows different perspective from Neil Adams, that he's thinking. You and I like it when people think, when they do things in the comics to make them better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good shot. Whether he pulls it off, it's up to you. But I like the thought process. So Spectre shows up and he was gone. And buddy, there's your Justice Society. They mention it. Or maybe I might have to do Temple of Doom next week because it's part 2. Maybe after that one. I've got some. I could definitely do it. And
so we're going to scroll slowly and steadily through this next page, folks, because it's highly controversial.
But I wanted, before we get to that, this green part right here, I'll freeze it for a minute so everybody can read it. You can read it now or go back and read it later. But if you want a very quick history lesson, pay attention to Buddy in the chat and read this part right here, where the back of Spectre's cape. He's given the life by mystic powers of a voice. We know who the voice is supposed to be from last week. Supposed to be. We won't get into all that. We don't have time. Which explained that his work was not yet done. The ghost of, remember I said DEA dead? The ghost of DEA dead Jim Corrigan, because you remember the gangster did him pretty badly. Did him pretty bad, really badly.
And shoot him.
Yeah, they worked him over and did him rough. He became a spirit being dedicated to the prevention of crime. Now, the important part of that is the ghost of Jim Corrigan. Now, I'm not going to get into all this debating about it. It's really him. It's not him. It is him. They're separate. They're separate things because you can see it right.
Well, his spirit left his body and evolved to become the Spectre.
Correct.
Right. It is a separate entity now. So a spiritless.
He's been manifested himself as the actual ghost of Jim Corrigan.
Yeah.
But Jim Corrigan himself was raised from the dead. So I kind of made a mistake there when I said he was DEA dead. What I meant to say was he did DIE, but his physical form and his soul is still up and running. Right? He's not a vampire.
There's an idea that you have a soul and then you have a conscious mind and body.
Correct.
Right.
And he has
the soul was separated and became the Spectre. And then Jim Corrigan, just the mind and body.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
And they are separate entities. Spectre can fly off and do, but he has to kind of come back and recharge because they say so.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, real quick here.
We'll just go through that real quick. All I'm going to say is when they were giving these out at Toys, we didn't have this type of problem that we do today. So maybe these aren't the issue. But yeah, that was a lot of fun back in the day, I'm sure. And so we can move on.
We can move on very quickly with that. And I'll just say one other very quick thing about that, because I want people to read this letter. We just don't have time, folks. This StreamYard, I'm on limited 20 hours a month now. And I don't know how we usually go over 2 hours here sometimes because we get into good stuff like this letter. But real quick, this comic was made in 1967. World War II was basically over in around 45, 46, 40. I don't remember. God forgive me, when the actual Japanese treaty was signed. And then when the European front, when we finally won that as well, we're barely 20 years out of all of that. So what JT said about that ad is, to me, is exactly what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that it it does look pretty.
The illustration is realistic.
Yeah,
I
the
doubt the
illustration
actual
is very
toy
good.
was so faithfully reproduced.
And it probably had the big orange cap on the end of it, because I remember all of my stuff.
67.
Not back then, but when I grew up, they did in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wasn't even born until 69. So, okay. So folks, if you want a good letter from a reader back in 1967, go back and read this. They gave him the whole page. That's how good this letter is. And he's defending all the letters that we talked about, or I brought up last week, about how some people were pissed that they even brought the Spectre back. You're always going to get people like that. They remember how we talked about how I wanted the Spectre to be really, really powerful and strange and creepy, but I'll enjoy what they give me. And this is what this guy
he
talks
addressed
about.
2 key points. One, that they didn't want the comic because the Spectre is too omnipotent, and 2, that the Spectre is good incarnate and good always wins, so therefore it would be boring. And 3, I guess the third point, you will always be battling the same type of enemies issue after issue. So he goes through and he picks apart each of those claims in paragraphs.
Yeah, and in paragraphs to say why you could still have the Spectre as a good, decent comic figure. And it doesn't matter because we get 10 issues of this anyway, right? We'll see how well they do. So go back and read this letter. It's amazing. It's a really, really good. I might even feature it with a couple other different things. And they actually acknowledge the guy. And so, okay. So Jim goes and meets this redhead. This is Mona, everyone. Apparently that's his, I don't know if it's his girlfriend, I guess. Maybe. I'm assuming that's a girlfriend, kind of. Maybe trying to make his girlfriend. I'll go with that one.
Casually visiting each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't want to be late for that date. So, he likes her. He was good enough to do it and he passed up other stuff. So, but it's weird because the Spectre, is kind of hanging out inside of him. That's what he said.
But he said he wouldn't interfere.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because he's talking to himself, technically. JT, right?
Yeah.
But the Spectre is talking. So you got to really kind of pay attention to who's saying what, or you'll just get lost. Or at least I will. All right, so they're hanging around for about an hour or so, and they meet. Dun, dun, dun. The bad guy.
Dirk Raleigh.
Dirk Raleigh. And he's a magician. Okay. Now, JT, no spoiler alerts here. I'm kind of wondering what you're going to say about what happens later. But being that it's a magician, just keep that in mind.
Yes. And while they're thinking on that, you have Spectre thinking on everything that Jim knows about, right? So then he says that there's no way that, some corporeal being could have done all this. It had to have been something basically magic, some psychic being, something like that. He said he'll visit both crimes to figure out, maybe if there's a link in them.
So, it's a very good thing that the Spectre is a good character, because you can imagine that like Venom would have done to Parker. I mean, not Parker. Jeez. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. Total brain fart. With Venom always talking to him, like they try to make it really funny in the movies. if you saw the Venom movies.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't finish the third one.
I saw the first one only.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched all of the second one either. It was just too quippy and trying to be overly funny. The Spectre kind of stays out of his business for the most part, unless it's important. I like that factor of it because you brought it up. You said, well, he's not going to bother them. He's just kind of mentioning to us that he knows. But if he really wanted to mess with Jim, he could, you know, because he could just drive him crazy.
Yeah.
And
then he finds out that, hey, if I go to the scene of the crime, there's like there's breadcrumbs, basically. It's serial breadcrumbs that lead him back to some other point that he's going to go try and find.
Correct. Yes. But yeah, that's good. Good way to describe it. It's kind of like in the movies with ghosts, they leave a trail or something. And with him being what he is, it's highly sensitive to that. We saw that in last issue number 1. As strong as he is, he does seem susceptible to other kind of etherical magic, or whatever you want to call it. It's not really magic. It's because it's real. It's ethereal stuff. He doesn't do too well with it here, does he, JT?
Not at all. Not at all. So there's eldritch forces in the vault.
I keep reading that one.
That tear at the ghostly guardian like a thaumaturgic tornado.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thaumaturgic tornado. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm being wrenched apart. My ectoplasmic energies shredded. I must escape this evil flux or perish. Well, I don't know what thaumaturgic tornadoes are and how that makes them different than regular tornadoes or vortices, but we've got the picture.
Yeah, and FKHC makes a good point in the chat, because I can't pull it up without backing out, so I just read it over there, that we're moving into Nam as well, only being 20 some years outside of the end of World War II. We're now full blown going into Nam with that as well. So that's a good point.
Okay, so thaumaturgic is an adjective meaning performing miracles or of relating to or dependent on thaumaturgy. Well, you know, that answers so much. It means working like a miracle working type of thing.
And if I hadn't read the Spectre, I would be like, what? I'd have to really think about it more, but it does fit if you really kind of try to think about what the Spectre really is. Yeah, because we saw him bend time last week several times, because Old Skull was like, screw you, I'll just go further. That was kind of funny. Yeah, I'll just run away. Run away. And he had to bend time and go back in time again and again and again and again. All right, so Spectre.
Yes, exactly. Like, FKHC.
Harvey Cthulhu.
Harvey is in the vault.
So Spectre is like you said, he's not loving it at all, and he gets out of there, goes to the other scene at the house, the mansion, with the chest that had the jewel in it, and he can sense, a trail there, kind of repeating it, but I like it because it kind of shows that there's some more there as well. He's doing all this detective work for Jim while Jim's out having fun, which is kind of cool. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then he says, well, I'm going to follow the trail here. And he runs into old Dirk. And then we get into an extended fight scene. So I don't know how well you're going to like it. I know how we are about overdoing it, but let's find out. So he runs into Dirk.
Yes, he does. Well, one of them anyway.
He runs into the
magical
real
Dirk.
One.
Yeah, no, the fake one, I thought, right?
Oh yeah, my gosh, sorry. Yeah, well, I was getting mixed up. This is the fake one because he's out robbing. This is the ethereal one, the ghost one.
Yes. Yes, well, and he says, warns him to stay out of his way.
Yeah, he actually calls. What would they call him at last week? Astral Avenger, AA.
Yes.
He calls Spectre the ghost, which is more a fitting term. He's more of a manifestation than Spectre is, because you really got to dig deep into how Spectre came about. But they start to commence into fighting, getting on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I got to drink water every now and then.
No problem. So he says that the evil Dirk says, my stay in demonic Arkham Town served to make me the most powerful being in the universe. Nothing can stand with me, living or otherwise. Well, you know, his hokey religion and ancient sorcery are no match for a battle station. But
yeah, I was going to say the Galactica take him on. I found that a really interesting comment about Arkham Town. He called it's turning out that Arkham is more of a place where all the demons hang out. Basically, that's what it is. That's why they had it on the cover. See how they tied that in?
Yes.
And they like, yeah, I'm glad you read that. The demonic Arkham Town. I found that statement to be really interesting.
Well, this is probably not the same Arkham that we're thinking of.
I don't think it is either.
Because Arkham is also the place that in New England that H.P. Lovecraft created. For his like I don't know how much you've read, but like some of like the Cthulhu weird Harvey type stuff.
Long time ago. I couldn't even begin to really talk about it. I know what Cthulhu is. Especially if you watch Doomcock. Right.
So I don't think they mean Gotham and the Arkham Asylum. I think they mean more Arkham, like H.P. Lovecraft's Evil Village type of place.
That's what it's going to be. We'll get into more of that. But so they start fist fighting or astral fighting, and Spectre's kind of like, oh, that was a neat trick. And here we go again. The part that I liked most is they talk shit to each other. Right?
Yeah.
And they also kind of do like anime characters these days. Spectre likes to talk to you about the action that's going on. So here's the funny thing. The magician pulls a rabbit out of his hat.
Yep. And it grows larger and larger.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like, what?
And it has a joke. It has a Joker joke into it. You might call that below a rabbit punch.
Yeah, full on Joker mode. And you caught on to that last week. I didn't even really catch on to it. And we just had done the Jokers run. And that's a good point. This is total Joker-esque. But the Spectre's like, this rabbit is kind of strong.
Yeah.
He's full of energy, bad stuff.
Well, I think it's funny. He's doing kind of a shot put or discus twirl with the rabbit.
Look at the size of that damn thing. And it was thumping him with his.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she was just thumping him with his back feet. And it caught him right on the side of the head. I wish Neil. Okay, so Neil missed an opportunity here for like a full half page of seeing the rabbit, kind of coming at him and like animation move. You know what I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm.
Now that would have been hilarious. But he's swinging him around.
Yep.
Well, Dirk's not done with his magic act here. JT, look what he does next.
Oh, a deck of cards.
No, you missed. No, not yet. You missed.
Oh,
one.
you were partially there.
Yeah, well, it's right next to where he's swinging the rabbit around. You can miss it.
Well, he has a bouquet, but the bouquet gets knocked out of his hands.
Yeah, he pulls out the flowers because he's gonna. You know how they pull out the bouquets.
Yep.
Magicians will do that, and then, Spectre's too fast for him. Then he pulls out the cards. So you got the rabbit, the bouquet, you got cards. And then he starts talking. He's still talking shit. And he's like, the cards are growing large now, too. And it reminded me of the Royal Flush Gang that we ran into.
With the Joker, yes, me too. It definitely reminds me of
Yeah, and I didn't tell you the Royal Flush Gang was no joke, man. They weren't a joke. They were pretty tough, especially if you catch
I
up with
like to
them.
call them the Royal Flush Gang instead
Mhm.
of the Royal Flush Gang. It gives them a different connotation. I remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, no, they were no joke. I recall.
and the Dirk's like club him, Jack, which is a double entendre when people used to
Hmm.
talk to each other. Hey, Jack, hey,
Right.
Joe. They used to call each other names that weren't your name. It was just a thing.
Yeah.
And hey, Bud, and stuff like that.
Hmm. So then he's like, "Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Cards, these are big flat things. How about I just blow on them like a birthday cake and create a wind and blow them away?"
Yeah, he pulls a Kal-El on him here, which was a little. I hate to see new characters like for us to use stuff like they would back then, but I don't think Neil and the writers were thinking Superman here. That was it. I don't think they meant that at all. I think they just went with the cards thing that you mentioned that you read. And if you want to know more about the Royal Flush Gang, you go to Batman Beyond and Justice League animation. I think it was Justice League, wasn't it? Or
Hmm.
was it Batman Brave and the Bold? I think it's Justice League and Batman Beyond DC animation. So he blows the house of cards down. It's interesting enough here. I like this artwork. Did you notice like all the cards are laid on the ground here?
The collector and the co-pilot says we used to call each other names that would bring you to court or to the grave nowadays.
Oh yeah. And hail to the collector and the co-pilot.
Yeah, good to have you.
Give you a little shout out there in the chat because I got to type it in the other laptop. Yeah,
So after the halitosis breath,
yeah, Spectre's starting to get a little angrier than normal. He's in this fight, but he's not
yeah,
really using powers that we all know he could do. It's
yes,
almost like I'm starting to get the sense that he has to kind of get his ass kicked a little bit. And he's kind of like Superman in that way that we've seen many times, some good, some bad. I didn't go see the movie.
they have to have an entertaining fight one way or another, Dave.
Yeah, he
That's
can't be
all it
One
is.
Punch Man, even though One Punch Man is great. I love that anime. I love that series, especially season 2. But so the bad Dirk, would you call him Bad Dirk or the
Bad Dirk? Yeah,
Dirk? It's like, yeah, I almost forgot why I was here. I forgot I'm stealing stuff.
right, right.
But he turns around and now Spectre's pissed and he catches a right cross here, dude.
Squawk.
knocks his
That's
top hat
that's a
right
nice
off.
hook. That's a nice hook, isn't it?
Yeah. And these artists, they were, and some are better than others, and that's always depending on style, your style, not their style, because their style is what you either like or you don't. But I like this top left. He splits this page, which I thought was kind of an odd kind of way to split the page. But I like this artwork to the left. Like all those cards are blown down on the ground here. And Inspector's running them over. That's like art you didn't have to put in. It's just they do it because they're good at what they do. They're getting paid, so they want to do a good job. Yeah.
I like the hat has a 3-dimensional look to it, and that goes even in front of the other pane right there. But it feels very 3-dimensional.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes. This is and we don't have time. Gotta move on.
Yeah. Okay. Then a full page army men.
Yeah, I should have linked my ours. You were on that with me.
Yes.
The long version. I have a 9-minute version. Then we have like a 3-hour version of comic book ads. Go look that up on my channel, everybody.
Back in December of 2024,
that
we talk about some of the best ads from late 1970s, and I think we even went back to the 60s on some of these.
Yeah, we have these
So,
army ones here. I did like the army one, the
oh yeah.
Roman one, the Revolutionary War one,
Mm-hmm.
and then we did all kind of. There's too many to even go through, but we did like a 3-hour show. You, myself, and a Hungry Boy,
Mark D
and
with the C
Mark
might have come in for a while. It was
Mark
a good
D,
show. It was a lot of
and
fun.
some other people came in. Oh, that was one of my best ones. I love that show.
Yeah.
And then I did a quick 9-minute version for people who aren't, they only click on stuff like that. So, but then Bad Dirk pulls out. Look what he does here. I was just rolling.
Oh, the
laughing.
handkerchief, the unlimited, handkerchief trick.
Yes, the unlimited handkerchief trick, dude. That was like, what the hell? It's so
Well, ties them up. That is clever.
It was very clever. I thought it was hilarious that they sat around and said, okay, this guy's a magician. What does a magician do? And they actually used most of it right here. And it's a superpower handkerchief because that's the Spectre and he could easily just get out of that. But you got to remember, this is ethereal charge. He even says it. It's like a living etheric snake. So if you're wondering, how is he getting tied up with this stuff? That's because it's not just regular handkerchief stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny
But
to
it's
me.
more like a boa constrictor. And he says, there's only one part of me still free to move. But the speech bubble's coming from an interesting location. I'll just say that. We can move on.
Come on, Jack.
He stomps the floor and astral flames. So he really needs, I don't know what his issues are, but he needs some powder or something.
Yeah.
Like some gold bond.
Yeah.
Or some Motrin to
ghost.
keep that foot fire down.
That ashy skin he's got too. But those are those little green boots that Captain Skull was making fun of last issue.
So he gets out of this with his athlete's
really
foot catching on fire.
Yeah.
He burns off the blazing satin. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, and
right. Our bad guy
is spirit
escaped.
sash.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets away. And he mentions that because the dude just kind of disappears, he can't follow his snail trail. There's no way to. Apparently, he popped in and out.
At least they mentioned it, right? Because otherwise, someone like you or I would say, "Well, wait a minute, just follow the breadcrumbs,
follow the trail." Huh?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're thinking about what the readers would do or how they would perceive things. It's very smart.
Yes.
Later,
in the privacy of Jim Corrigan's bedroom.
This is
okay.
I like this scene for the most part because it kind of shows Spectre isn't like inside him, and it would just mess with your head, your brain, whatever brain that Jim has left, which is real now. We've established that Spectre shows his body in front of him while he's talking to him, so it makes it more human for Jim to talk to him, not just in his head all the time like Venom. Venom would pop out all the time, but Eddie Brock, that was his name. So I like the fact that they're having a conversation, but Spectre isn't driving him mad by just being inside his head or inside his body constantly. So, any comments? What do you think about that, JT? Any deep thoughts on that?
No,
just cool. Just cool with it.
Yeah. I was wondering where Mona was.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. It just he had the date and she's hiding in the closet. Basically, he put her in the closet. Couldn't have her in her PJs though. It's 1967. He's wearing a full set of PJs. So they're just hanging out, talking about the case and stuff like that. I thought it was kind of cool. And Spectre's actually talking to him about the spirit counterpart of the human body, which it resembles, and usually subject to the commands of its physical double, which is kind of alluding to the fact that he says usually though, Jim should be able to tell Spectre what to do, but it doesn't seem so in this case, or in the other, or in Dirk or Bad Dirk, or they're both Bad Dirks. But we get a lot of talkie here. And so if you really want to get into a deep dive about all the etheric doubles and how they can pass through walls and all that, this is pretty much what they're talking about. Spectre brings up throughout history, there's been certain real life examples that the human people have actually caught on to that it's real. And they're just basically kind of hanging out, man. And that's about it. And it says that, but Spectre comes up with a good idea here. What do you think of that, JT? That, if they hit each other at the same time, I guess it could work. I think maybe put a spell on them or something, but
you may. I don't know. It's
yeah, you just go with it.
Yeah,
it's a comic.
It's not the most impressive plan ever.
No, and it doesn't really work out too well.
Now, I know this isn't what's happening because it's the 1960s, but Dave, look at that and tell me what you think.
Which, it's a little weird there. Hey, Matthew Powder, just in time. Again, it's innocent because we're all depraved individuals in the 21st century, or is it 22nd century? I don't know anymore. That it looks, because he has to go back into him. And he's telling him, okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to punch the bad ghost Dirk, and you're going to punch the bad human Dirk at the same time. And it's going to cause confusion in the ethereal time, space and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to zap him back to wherever the hell he came from. I'm like, okay. Now, this is an interesting page. I should probably put that out. The Spectre interviews Neil Adams. This was kind of a fun little cool deal. And he just goes through a bunch of different questions, He just talks about comic books and some old stuff, and talking about Neil when he was younger. And I'll hold it here at the top for just a second or two, and then I'll scroll down and hold it at the bottom again for anybody who wants to go back and actually read it. I read a couple of it. It's funny. It's kind of cool with Neil talking to a fake character. And they talk about other things besides the Spectre. Of course, it's all in early 60s going in 50s.
Here we go. Dave, do you have problems communicating with the establishment?
Yes.
Do you find older people bug you about your long-haired friends?
Used to. I don't have hair. All my hair. Okay. All my friends don't have hair anymore.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask. Do the discs you play shock your parents? I guess they mean, no. Do your CDs annoy your parents? No,
I didn't do that.
No. Okay. Do you have problems when it comes to borrowing your dad's car?
Yes. My stepdad had bought a Jaguar, an older one. Okay. We didn't really roll like that, but he had an old X something Jaguar.
Okay.
Hey man, can I drive it? He's like, no. I was like, oh fuck you. Man.
Do the grown-ups do adults have problems with your dress or your attire?
No, I wasn't emo or goth or anything like that. Okay. I was pretty standard.
Okay, Dave, in the year 2025, are you still looked upon as a gawky adolescent when you try to talk about your hangups?
Absolutely.
If you answer yes to more than one of these, then you need instant relief from the traumas of modern day society.
Groovy. No, I think what I'll do is maybe drink a bottle of Jameson and go watch some old Scooby-Doo shows. I'll get my groovy on then.
Gee, I wonder why you won't find this mag unless you ask for it.
Ruh-roh, Shaggy. Oh. Okay. Yes, that was funny. Oh, did you read the part to the left? the what is that writing? I can't recognize. What is that?
Cursive.
Sanskrit? Is that Sanskrit?
Get down to the real nitty gritty with the psychedelic experience.
Yeah, that could allude to something else back in the 60s.
Yeah.
I won't say it,
Yeah.
but I think we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, guess what we do get? We get Mona in a negligee.
Oh,
nice. Yeah. Yeah, 1967. You go, Neil Adams.
Right. So, a few days later, Mona, he's talking to Mona on the phone. When are we going to get together again? How about Friday evening for the charity union dinner? She is all about these charity dinners. I'm inviting you to be my escort. Oh, okay. Well, he's like, he plays it right. He says, I don't know. I'm pretty busy.
He plays it right. And can you tell I'm a single dude? But and JT's very comfortable in his life,
yes.
in his marriage to say that. However, what I caught on immediately on Mona's side was exactly what she says, and the chat is going wild. Don't think that was in the omnibus. In full stock it to me.
Even if I tell you that the magician Dirk Raleigh is on the entertainment program, now that gets his interest. She knows what gets him.
Yeah, so she's already playing that female role. And Lady V, if you're out there, I know you're laughing because you know what we're getting at here. She said it, not me. But I'm going to be honest with JT and everybody. I kind of thought of the same thing before I got to that bottom left one. It's like, wait a second. He just dissed her. Kind of. I mean, it's the right move. But, you got to keep it,
You don't want her to think that you're too interested in her, right?
Well, I don't know, man. That picture, yeah.
But he can't see that. Only we can see that. Anyway.
Right. Exactly. So what had happened was, obviously, he's a detective and he's after the bad guy and blah, blah. So there's the magician guy. He's up there doing his thing. Spectre. This is a pretty cool shot, and you can just tell when these artists do things like this. We mentioned it all the time that it's just for art's sake, or we say it's just for action's sake. Having him swoosh down like that, it's just for some, from some good art. And it's a detail. You and I are always pay attention to detail. The hands are pretty good. You look down here to the very bottom left, you see the columns to this building. There's shading in there. You brought up some shadows and stuff from a week or 2 weeks ago. And when you do that, that means you're paying attention and you're trying to do a good damn job. The windows. That's not the back stuff here doesn't have to be great. It just has to be in there. Decent.
Right.
And they do it, and he does it, because when you compare it to the party here, this one to the left is just a purple background. You don't need to. That's fine. I didn't even notice it until now. You don't really need to go all.
I would have liked a little more than purple on that.
Could have put a plant.
You could.
Where's my fern? Damn it! I'm missing my fern since Black Panther. We got trees and stuff in Joker. We got all that kind of stuff.
You did.
Yeah, we got a ton of that in Joker. The first moon outfit is basically this with a moon on it. Yeah, dude. Thank you for bringing that up. And it does look like Moon Knight. Matthew Pounder said, no offense to Murphy, but this is a step up. Yeah, and JT had already kind of started saying things like, I like the art here. And so do I. And Neil Adams is good. People know him for a reason. And he could have put a fern or a potted plant back there or something.
Now, that's okay. This is interesting because he runs up on stage to try to deck this magician.
Right.
He's also a detective. He's a police. So
yes. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, JT. I was getting all excited.
So now you look and they have all these guys restraining him. And he's like, I just need to tell him he's police.
Well, you got to remember that he's trying to time the punch exactly with I'll scroll back up just a wee bit. So when I'm talking about the art swooping down,
Mm-hmm.
he's actually chasing now the bad
Right.
bad Dirk.
Right.
He caught on to the trail. He's following him, and he's trying to catch up to him and tell Jim at the same time we have to punch each guy at exactly the same time. What they did here, I was like, well, surely he's gonna get in trouble for this, just like you're thinking.
Yep.
In 67, if you run up on stage and attack some guy who's just doing his show, it's not going to go well for you. At least that's what I was thinking. And then not only that, he totally missed. He just ducked right under. He's like, whoosh, come on, man. So the human bad Dirk actually got some moves here. And then a bunch of other guys who don't hesitate to jump in and help out. They grab him, like you said. They just, they corral him in. So we'll see what happens with that, JT, because you brought it up as well. That, you're a cop. You can't be doing that, not in front of all those people. And you would have thought Jim would have said, nah, man, now's not a good time, dude. Talking to it himself, literally. But we see that the Spectre actually caught up and got a good, man, he jacks this dude again. But this is the bad ghost version. And yeah, he knocked him on his ass, but this dude, guess what he does?
He throws a magic carpet at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's digging deep into his magician repertoire. And
well, he was also wearing headdress that would, I guess, lead one to believe that he might have.
Well, he has to. Well, he looks like the other Dirk who's doing the show, so he's dressed up as him as well.
I'm just saying it's not appropriate past 60s.
Yeah. This is like one little wee part. I was like, you don't know magic carpets now. All right, okay. And Spectre pulls Plastic Man here, and look at his arm. He stretches out here and knocks it away into some kind of lamp. Like a lamp, huh? Anyway, I was digging way too much into that one. Some more ads. But oh boy, remember he stole that gem? And they haven't made much of it. I kind of forgot all about that. Apparently, it's a super duper power gem. And it just pulls him into it. It traps him. His astral, the Spectre. And I'm like, whoa.
Well, I think he can use the gem to focus his abilities more than the gem itself naturally having power. I don't know.
Yeah, and they even talk about his headdress. They call it the fallen turban. He had the gem, the ruby hidden up there, and he calls it the mighty Solstom, wizard of dark demonolatries, which he got in Arkham. So yeah, Arkham is definitely not DC Arkham.
No.
But I was a little surprised that Spectre would get trapped like that. But then it's good comic writing, because now you're like, whoa, wait a minute. That's some pretty powerful stuff to just trap.
Well, we're going to need a reversal of some sort, because now both versions of Dirk have the upper hand, right?
Pretty much. You got to figure Jim is probably going to be at least detained or worse at this point. In behind, locked up or something. At least that's what I was thinking. And then, because I was going along with your thoughts about, 1967, probably not getting away with that one. But the bad guy here is kind of like, I have to go recharge. And this is definitely an MO now for us. For any of these astral people, ethereal people, the way they write these characters is they have to rest or get recharged. And we saw that with Spectre. He actually has to go back into some deep plane type of existence, or he has to go back into Jim, as we saw. And Wait, see, bad Spectre goes back to Arkham. I mean, bad Dirk goes back to Arkham, right? Is that right? Dirk?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Bad Dirk goes back to Arkham, and he says that it's so evil he's going to recharge himself. And all of these evil things are going to help him get there. And now we get what was the title page, right? Or was it the front cover? I think that was actually the cover page pose. It is. It's the cover page pose.
Yeah. A different angle, but it is the cover page pose. Correct. Yeah. Like in some movie, it's tits for tits sake of movies. Yes, definitely. And then these stories are set on Earth 2. Oh, I didn't know that. Did you know that?
No,
I didn't know that. Earth 2.
I did not.
Did not know that. Yeah, I don't know what plane of existence it's on. So pretty evil stuff here. You think that this guy is like, he's full on demonic. I mean, he's 100% all in on this stuff. This Dirk guy.
Right. And now that his opponent is encased in the ruby, he's got nothing to fear. So he thinks.
Yeah, so he thinks. Well, you know how bad guys are. They're full of it. They're full on narcissists as well. That when I wake to serve my physical other self, I will be the most potent force in and out of this celestial fear. Yeah, and then you read the other part. So he fears nothing at this point, and most bad guys don't. For the most.
There's a reference to Mercury that I would never understand, because Mercury was pretty much gone from thermometers by the time I was a kid. They knew it was really not a good thing to be handling.
Yeah, you weren't even supposed to get near it.
Right.
And I remember those thermometers. We used to have one.
Yeah.
Just a blob of mercury can cause an object to roll about. Any scientists out there could confirm, deny that kind of stuff. But he's like, I mean, Spectre's smart. He knows things. I mean, he's a he's a celestial kind of ghost type thing. So he sees a diamond over there. And then I kind of forgot how small he was, though. I was like, "What is that big ass diamond?"
Yeah, he's like an inch or two tall.
He's actually in the ruby. I don't know what I was thinking. It was just like, what? Oh, yeah, that's right. But look at the artwork.
He is correct that diamond is the hardest natural substance.
Yeah, at least
we've discovered anyway. So I guess he's going to try and shatter the ruby or scratch it enough to weaken it.
Yeah, he's gonna try to slam himself up against it. Look at the artwork inside, though. It's pretty cool that you could see him all trapped. What is the old school scientist who made that pose for the medical stuff?
Anyway, oh, that's Da Vinci.
Da Vinci. Gosh, yeah. I was thinking of Ninja Turtles. What? No, I knew it wasn't. Donatello, but I got it mixed up there. So yeah, he's just slamming himself into this diamond over and over and over again, and he gets just enough scratch on it. And that's all he needs. And what I found quite interesting is that he just didn't use his power here to just, blast himself out of the damn ruby.
Mm-hmm.
So we see a little bit of constraint on him with the writers and producers or director, whoever is in charge of this kind of stuff. And like that letter, the guy said that he's too powerful, that some people don't want the Spectre because he's too powerful and it would mess up all the other stuff. Well, come on, that's a little too much. That's why that guy wrote that letter to go against all that. And you can see it here that he is constrained with his power. I was a little bit surprised by this, JT, because I would have thought this would have been a good time for him to showcase some of his power and say, yes, okay, this really sucks. It's going to take a lot for me to do this, but I can't. And, and he's,
well, he had his power sucked out when the magic carpet hit him. It drained him of his power. So, yeah.
So they make up for that, for me, not understanding what had happened for him not to do that. I just would have liked to have seen it happen somehow. The different angle to get out of it.
Mhm.
But hey, no, you're right. You're 100% correct. I was just making the point that would have been a good time for him to show what he could do.
Sure.
And there's his boots again. It's crazy. Those terrible green boots. Those are horrible boots. He needs to lace up boots like Kurt Russell in Big Trouble. You leave Jack Burton alone. Yeah, he needs those big green ones, those old school ones. And he's kind of mad about Jim, but he's not really mad. He's just like, what happened? Damn, man, I kind of got sold out here. If something happened, I got to go back, figure out. I'm trying to speed up a little bit, but we're well ahead on time here. We're okay. Well, JT, you were right. Do you want to go into this little left pane?
And at the moment that Captain Jim Corrigan faces troubles of his own, and then he's getting dressed down by a superior. So he is, it's the commissioner, Hackett.
Yeah, the commissioner.
And he says, turn in your badge. Oh, okay. Not his pew, not his heater, just the badge.
Yeah, that was weird. That's like a thing.
Yeah.
For every movie, comic book,
your pew and your badge.
Book, yeah. You turn in your gun and your badge. There you go.
Yeah.
What I found interesting also was that they had Bad Dirk over there. It's kind of like making him sit in a room with Bad Dirk while he's actually getting suspended as well. Like, you brought that up. Sorry. And then, so Spectre sees, okay, this is what happened, and now he's in a lot of trouble. So there's kind of a little funny scene where Jim's driving home, and he's got to be kind of pissed.
Well, she ain't gonna go out with him again after clowning around like that.
Well, they mentioned that
he drove her home, but
I don't know where she was that he drove him home from. They skipped something. They went back out on another date or something. I guess.
No. They were both at the date for this charity dinner, and that's when he jumped up on stage to beat up the comedian.
Oh,
and then that's when he gets detained, and the commissioner is there telling him, right now you're done, and then he drives her home. But she probably doesn't want to be seen with him.
Okay, I was kind of thinking that they were back at the police department or something.
No.
I totally missed that, dude. Wow, that was bad of me. Sorry. That's why Bad Dirk is there. The commissioner was at the party.
Yeah.
Okay. And so all those other guys must have been. It was a police event.
Well, sure. I mean, there's at least these two there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So now that got me set straight. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Pixie boots like Robin. Yes, Matthew.
He's like, well, why didn't you just tell him what was going on? Like, are you kidding me? If I started talking about astral projections and eldritch gods and all the rest, they just throw me in the loony bin.
Oh, he'd be in Arkham Asylum.
Probably.
Yeah, you don't talk about it. You don't do that now. I mean, you can get away with it now. I mean, if you got like blue hair and a nose ring or something, but so they can. I think these little interactions, I do like these, depending on how they use them. So Spectre kind of just chilling in the passenger seat, like he's your buddy or something. I like it. It's kind of funny. It's like he's like, Jim, man, I got suspended. My girl's pissed. But Jim's kind of a laid back, cool dude. He's not really saying these things. I think they could have wrote that. He's like, dang it, man. What are we going to do now? At least show a little bit of, that he's pissed off about what's going on. But anyway, and they're like, well, we've still got to stick to the plan, and we're gonna go try to do it again anyway.
Yep.
Okay. Basically, that's it, right?
Well, and they're really under the clock because they have to apprehend this guy on their own before his suspension is adjudicated, and he's cut off of force,
Fired.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. and of course, he wouldn't want to lose his human job, his real job, because he's actually a real person still.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want that to happen. That's why I was kind of thinking he should wrote it. Damn, a little bit of more of emotion from Jim there would have been would have been good. I was like, Jim should have been kind of mad about all this going on, especially because you missed the punch.
Right.
I mean, you totally whiffed. And so, but anyhow, we'll move on. And they go to look what this is kind of a reference to. Now, you've mentioned this several times about another DC character, bad guy, and look at the artwork. What does that look like? It looks like a funhouse, but it's kind of a resemblance to Joker.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. You said definitely is. Okay, so it's not just me. It's just me. It's not you, it's me. Yeah, and that's what immediately I was like, oh, they're definitely putting Joker. This is they put the actual jokes in there that JT called out, rightfully so. And then now you get two little Joker in bright red lipstick, just to make sure you see it.
So they go to this carnival, and he's been shadowing the magician, been shadowing Dirk, and you have the Spectre in green saying that, so Jim, I've detected basically where the other Dirk Raleigh is going to be. And they agree they're going to start taking action. Right.
Yeah.
This is when they're going to spring the trap. So he keeps looking at his watch like something isn't right. Or he's got some place to be.
Bad Dirk here. And I like this constant connection. Imagine being able to have that kind of some spectral person to help you with your detective work. It'd be pretty nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, like you said, which is most important now, they're on a time frame. That's actually Bad Dirk looking at his watch. And I didn't catch on to that. I'm thinking, oh, he's setting him up. He knows he's being followed. That's what I was thinking. Because he even said it himself here. I don't know if you saw that. He keeps looking at his watch. Something's up. Mm-hmm. I better keep closer to him. I'm thinking, you might want to be careful there, dude. I mean, he got the better of you just a couple of hours ago.
Yeah. There's going to be a ton of people around too. So is this really the best spot for kind of hustle?
I guess they're, like you said, he's under a lot of pressure now because he's in so much trouble. So they're going to go on some kind of a carnival ride. The guy says, you can't get on, man. We're full. He's like, what? Are you for real? He's like, yeah, I'm for real. So he doesn't let him on. I'm like, okay. I was like, that was kind of funny. I didn't see that happening because they were planning on doing something really, really comic book insanity coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And Matthew said, Adams co-plotted this. Funhouse looks like his idea. Yeah, definitely. I wish some of the other guys were around, especially Clavi could tell you about all this stuff. But you guys are always awesome in the chat to help us out. So Jim gets screwed here. And you're like, okay, what are they going to do with this? And then what I don't get is like Bad Dirk has to know he's being followed.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a dumb guy, at least, or unless he's so egotistical, he thinks he's in the clear at this point. That could be something because they are hugely narcissistic type characters with massive egos.
Mm-hmm.
I know a few people like that, don't I, JT?
Yeah.
At least two that I could think of right now.
I can think of one, and the ego's bigger than the pen, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
That's all I could say.
We could say more, but not tonight. So, okay, hold on to your comic book. Let's just do whatever we're going to do. It finally came around, this issue. Because
hold on to your butts.
Hold on, because it kind of goes off the rails, at least for me, a little bit here. I think JT's going to agree with me, but I don't know. He might find it funny. I mean, whether you find it funny or not is regardless of whether it's crazy. Jim apparently knows a guy who works there. Okay. And it happened. Now you can see what's getting ready to happen. He runs the human cannonball machine.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second.
Okay.
Wait a second. There's two things going on with me right now. One is I can see what Jim's going to try to do here, because if you notice, the ride that Bad Dirk on is a swinging around type thing with, you get into the plane type thing and you fly around and it's way up in the air. So Jim gets the idea of, okay.
No. Yeah.
Yes. And then the other thing, JT, is this. Where does a fair or a carnival ever had a human cannonball where regular people can get in it as a damn ride? Or is it just because it was a show for the human cannonball? That's what it is, right? It was just a show. It wasn't for regular
way,
people to get
it's
in.
not going to be. Yeah, but they're not going to have it on a rotating platform and then allow you to aim it at a ride.
Well,
especially one in progress.
Yeah,
and then
he knows the guy. They're old school friends. Okay, they're old school friends, and so I'm just assuming it wasn't a ride for regular people. It was just one of those fairs and shows that a guy you pay, you buy your ticket and pay whatever extra or tip the guy to see the human cannonball guy go off. You know what I mean? And he just happens to know, and he only had 20 seconds to do this, by the way, if you saw that. And then he's like you said, aim it at the airplane, right, Ed? And don't miss.
And and the odds of launching out of a human cannon on a ride going around like this and actually making contact and then living are about 3,720 to 1.
Well, especially under the time frame and the trajectory angles that Ed had to line this thing up, he's not going to be able to just swing it, right? Like you said, just swing it over there really quickly. This is a massive lead cannon thing.
Yeah.
And then he shoots it, and I got really confused here because he says, oh no, I'm going to miss him. 0, 4, 3, 2, I'm going to miss him. 2, 1, but he doesn't miss.
Yeah.
He cracks him. Right. I mean, perfect shot here. And at the same time, AA gets bad ghost Dirk. And it works. That's it.
And at the velocity he's traveling, there's no way his hand is going to be able to grip that cable and then hold on to it. But
yeah, let's go back.
Everything else has been completely whatever so far.
He swings around on the cable because look at the angle. He's coming left to right. Bad Dirk is facing almost the same direction. So that's what it is. You see the swoop things that we always used to love from Kirby and Black Panther when he does those action scenes. So you can see here he's flying in that same direction from the left side of the rope cable. He grabs it with his right hand, which is correct, and swings all the way around. Can you imagine the force? It probably would have blasted this old dude's head off. Not to mention crushed his whole arm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's comic books and we love it. Nah. Japanese say nah. And there's some old Batman ads. That's a good comic, old stuff back in the day. And of course, physically, we know it would have just crushed this guy. And then we also know the ethereal one got knocked the heck out with AA here, and it all worked. So there you go. It all worked. But I like this part here that he's not satisfied with just knocking him out like that. You got to follow up, because how many times that we've seen the bad guys get up after you turn around and talk a lot of trash and you're not paying attention. The bad guys get up. So I thought that's what might happen, but he beat me to it here, which is cool because he's like, nah, yeah, I'm going to put him into some kind of ethereal prison type of thing.
Yeah.
And he keeps him knocked out and traps him for pretty much quite a long time. Who knows? And back at
Inert for all time. So that's a while. That's a while.
Yeah, who cares? This is a demonic evil being. And it's not even a human being, it's an ethereal, nasty type character. So good on you. And this is kind of an interesting police type thing if you want to look at that, or I can just keep going. They're trying, or Jim is trying to get the human form of Dirk locked up as well. Interesting. But here's what's kind of weird that I thought. So you got human form Jim here on the left pane, Spectre on the right pane. The guy in the blue suit sitting down is, how about it, Gordon? Do you have any proof of all of this? And they address him as the police commissioner. Now, he says he has proof, and the Spectre shows up with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, is the commissioner in on the Spectre thing?
No. Well, who knows? Who knows? That's a good question. I don't know. He says, but yeah, I know. I know where you're going with this. But no district attorney in the world could hope to convince a jury it was the physical Dirk Raleigh that forced the so-called etheric twin to commit those robberies.
Well, the commissioner has to be in on this. Even though Jim had said earlier, are you crazy? I can't tell a bunch of people that this stuff exists. They'll throw me in the loony bin, and they would. But the commissioner, they pulled this out of Batman.
I mean, he must be in on it.
He is on it. He has to be. He's sitting right there. So I was kind of like, whoa, what the hell? So the commissioner is on it, is in on it. And I wanted to get your opinion. Do you think that's cool? I mean, hey, that's what they did. So,
right? They did it.
They did it. So,
then they said, well, that's the duplicate. You're never going to get a district attorney to come after the original. And then that's when Spectre says, well, I came prepared for that. Let me introduce you to Hubert Desmond, first holdup victim of Dirk Raleigh in his etheric duplicate. He's been in the hospital ever since the robbery attack.
Yeah, because remember, he got sucker punched from behind by bad Dirk ghost guy. And you're absolutely 100% correct. They can't pin anything on the human bad Dirk guy because the commissioner is in on this, and he knows that the human bad Dirk guy wasn't anywhere near any of those robberies. In fact, he was on stage in front of him when one of the other things happened. So you nailed it. And
they can prove that he was the original thief because there's a magic compartment in the back of the watch that says, that has this monogram.
Yeah, that's that. Okay, that's why I was talking about the watch. Okay, yeah, earlier, and I just had the wrong person. A lot of gift watches and stuff like that were engraved. People still do that.
Yeah, but in a secret compartment in the back.
Well, yeah, it would have just been on the back.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have just been on the back. I don't know.
Why would you do that if not you're expecting to be robbed of it one day?
Yeah. But it was an interesting way to actually catch the human guy over something very simple as a watch.
Yep.
After all of that, we circled all around like SpongeBob when the episodes going all around, going back around. I love SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I got you.
And then I like that they were paying attention to the whole plot, the whole theme. They had all this laid out. There was only one or two things. Well, I'll save that for my review. But they caught him basically over this watch after everything that had happened. And last thing here. Oh, they booked him for robbery. Anything I missed?
Nope.
What can I say, Jim?
That's it.
Yeah. So the
He's restored.
commissioner.
He got cleared of his wrongdoing, even though that's not how that really works.
No, he's got to go up in front of a. Well, that is the commissioner.
Yeah, but he still committed an assault.
Well, he missed. So
okay.
Attempted. He did miss.
Let's also not forget that while he was suspended, he committed an attempted deletion by launching himself out of that cannon to strike that other guy.
Yeah.
Who was not fleeing police in an active investigation. I'll keep that in mind too. So he had two assaults. The first one he missed. The second one he did not. And the first one got him on suspension. So this one technically was even worse, and he should probably be, unpaid leave pending a second hearing in probably a trial. But here you go, buddy. Here's your badge back.
Yeah. It's classic Batman-esque here. This is all Batman type stuff going on.
Yeah,
but and we get introduced to the fact that the commissioner is in on it, which was kind of a shock. We had no clue. In fact, we were completely led astray to the opposite earlier in the issue when he was saying, I'm not going to tell anybody this shit. Are you crazy? They're going to think I'm crazy. And everybody's like, yes, that's right. You don't go around telling people that stuff. And then the commissioner's in on it the whole time. Like, what?
Right.
Yeah, he was like, okay. And don't forget your issue of Team Beam, everybody, because I failed that questionnaire miserably. Where's Mark D? Old Corgi. Look at the old Batman Corgi stuff, dude. Wow.
I'm sure Mark D with the C. I think I've actually seen him with at least. I think he's got that toe behind Batmobile. I'll have to ask him. I
think he has some kind of version of that one with these. I think he might actually have. You're saying he actually has this Corgi?
He might. Let me go.
He probably does.
Let me go hit him up on Subspace and see.
He probably does. And Matthew, Matthew says, why doesn't Corrigan's colleagues comment on how he hasn't aged since the 40s? Yeah, he's going to have to do the old school. I shouldn't say these things out loud on YouTube, but he's going to have to accidentally disappear, if you know what I mean, where you can be unidentified type thing, right? And then show up in
called a vacuum company in Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice. And look, this is the one that we almost did.
Doctor Strange?
No, Strange Adventures. That's the
Dead Strange Man. Adventures. That's okay.
Boston Brand.
Oh yeah, the deleted man. Yeah.
Yeah, Boston Brand. We could pull this off because we can title it as Strange Adventures featuring Boston Brand. The Dead Man. And if they have a problem with it, we can deal with it. But I think I want to do this character soon. And they're just talking about some of the old school comics from back in the day, which is kind of cool because you can see like, oh man, look at that one. Look at that one. Oh yeah, Green Lantern. Wow, look at the issue numbers on some of these, Strange Adventures has been around a long time. It's number 208. And it's, back in the 60s. What's up? What happened?
Matthew Pounder wants to know why Corrigan's colleagues comment how he hasn't aged since the 1940s, but he's the only one not smoking and drinking like an absolute fiend.
Yeah, pretty much
nonstop. So next to them, he looks basically the same as back in the 40s, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking of one of the detective shows that I can see the guy's face. I can't think of the Spectre, not Spectre. It started with an S. Michael something, not Keaton, was the actor. I think it was a Mickey Spillane guy. It's a big dude who played a detective. He had the mustache, and it was all that noir stuff type of guy. And I can't think of his character name. Oh, it's driving me crazy. We used to watch that on TV. It was a good show. And, and all those detective guys are always, like you said, you walk into their office, dude got a flask in the drawer and an ashtray full of either cigars or, 2 packs of cigarette butts in it because he hasn't not dumped it. But look at this Green Lantern, 12 center.
Yes.
Look at that Superman, number 200, 203. That's going way back.
12 cents.
12 cents. I love the 12-cent comics, dude. And thought about it. Got Halloween coming up. We're going to run into Halloween before we get done with this, but we could always do, how do I get into this without deleting the stream here? Never figure out. Oh, there we go. Got to do that. Swing that over and then do that. There we go. Cool. Now I can highlight people's comments and stuff. I was talking about like the House of Mysteries or Eerie, some of those old creepy comic. I have a couple of those. I actually have I wouldn't say a few, several of those old school 10-cent and 12-cent creepy type comics. Maybe if I can think of it next week, I'll pull some of those out and show them. Because what time are we on? We are at 1:45.
Yeah.
So we are doing well. And on your private chat, that is correct. That is, we're going to talk about that behind scenes
After.
Yeah. And then, no, but that is correct because I know for a fact that is correct.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. And JT, what do you think about this week's issue? Let's just get right into it because we only got 15 minutes.
Spectre versus the Joker. I liked how it started off. I really did. I thought it was a cool idea. And then I don't think they took it anywhere or they didn't go enough places with it. I thought there was too much fighting going on that got in the way of an actual story behind this. And maybe they just didn't have enough of an idea ready by the time they had to go and actually start, doodling out all this stuff onto, in real production. They really seem to take up a lot of pages with fighting. And I know that some people really love fight scenes, but we got no talk from the girl that he took to the show, right? Like you forgot that he even went with her.
I forgot.
It just that was like the middle
scenario.
Middle part of this. Yeah, that whole setup was very quickly done. I thought it was too rushed. You didn't give enough chance for some other stuff to breathe. And so if you're thinking like, could this have been a movie or could this have been, a slightly bigger story? Yes, I think it could have been, but not with what they gave us. I think if you're trying to turn this into a film, you would have to add so much they skipped over, because I would have wanted at least one more interaction after the Ruby to build up, I guess, the danger or suspense of the duplicate, the evil Dirk or the bad Dirk. So
yeah, definitely
that part of it left me kind of a little bit wanting. The ending also felt incredibly rushed. I mean, there wasn't a lot left to do, but the punch just worked. Like they assumed that the double punch would work, and then everything was good. Like you said, sometimes the bad guy still comes back, but this time he just didn't. How this other guy didn't get launched out of that carnival ride, and how we didn't have a shattered arm with the captain here just flying through the air like that. Some of it really just didn't hit as well as last week's issue, right? And if this were something like the Joker, it's campy enough, I don't care, but this kind of turned the serious spooky, otherworldly nature of stuff from the last issue and totally changed the tone of this whole thing in a way that I don't necessarily like as much. So, to that point, if I were going to slap a grade on this, I would give it a B minus. And it's not for the art, it's not for the dialogue, it's for the story organization and pacing.
Yeah. I actually thought you'd be being generous there.
I kind of am. I kind of am. But I'm feeling generous tonight.
When I really sit here and think about it while you're talking and listening to what you're saying, you're pretty, because you always say about 95% what I'm going to try to say.
Yeah,
I let you go first.
Hate going first because I'm always
no,
like,
I love it.
I wonder how much I'm going to steal off of Dave.
Well, I am about letter grades anyway, but I'm getting to enjoy more of trying to do letter grades because when I refer to when we started off the show saying I don't like doing it for the first issue unless it's really, really good or really, really bad.
Sure.
Because you have to have some kind of groundwork to go on. And you nailed most of it. Campy, man, I'm going to go with like C+ on this one, dude.
Okay.
Because when it falls off a cliff, it falls off a cliff. That whole cannonball scene was just like, I kind of want to ask sometimes, like, where are you going with this again? When you have a character called the Spectre, and this dude other guy is nothing but a human body.
So, Dave, question for you. Sorry to interrupt you here.
No.
You've been to a carnival, right? You've seen this type of ride before?
Mm-hmm. I don't get on.
How long do these rides go for? Like what, 2 minutes?
Minute or 2 minutes.
Why don't they just wait for it to land?
Yeah, it's like both times that the Spectre chased the bad guy ghost form, Dirk, Jim could have easily have just said, "Now it's not a good time." Now I could look more into the one where he punched. He missed the punch as an act of desperation and just wasn't thinking. I can forgive that one because he did get in a lot of trouble. He got suspended and he was going to get fired probably.
Oh, yeah.
Until we kind of figure out that the commissioner's in on it, which to me ruined that whole aspect of Jim being in trouble because the commissioner can cover it up. That's what I was waiting to tell you of why. Well, he could still get in a lot more trouble for what he did at the carnival. It's like, but back then, dude, he just covered that shit up. That's the commissioner. He just because he's in on it too. He's got nothing to hide. He knows that there's freaking ghosts flying around. So I was a little bit like, I don't think that the commissioner being in on it is a good idea because it shows that they are going to cover it up. But hey, we don't want Jim to get in trouble because we like Jim. Yeah, he's got a hot smoking redhead girlfriend. So I'm with you on all of that. I just completely lost it on the whole cannonball thing. I was like, okay, all right. And what you said about losing the luster of the character of Spectre itself and what he is, or what it is, what he's capable of. And we didn't see any of that shit this issue. He basically only used magic or ethereal power, like what was it, one time to make fire out of his foot heel?
Yes.
His heel?
Which I joked was that he needed athlete's foot powder.
Yes, exactly. You were even like, okay. And we also made another joke. It was kind of funny about where the speech bubble was.
Well, yeah.
The zaniness of using all the tropes of a magician was fine. I was fine with it because that's the character they went with. And I give them that they were thinking. I give props for that. Whether I liked it or not, it's up to you or me, whoever else is looking at this stuff. But then I gave them leeway on all of that. The art's great. It's Neil Adams. The writing is great. I mean, I didn't even know what some of the words were. I was like, what the hell is that? Right? The whole Arkham thing, I like that angle. I liked how they redid the whole explanation of Spectre with him and his cape by the third or fourth page. Should have done it earlier, but I like the splash page. That seems to be kind of an MO with these older comics that we noticed, that the cover is good or bad, but the splash page type tends to be really good most of the time, especially in the Joker issues. Remember that?
Yeah.
That the second page art tended to almost be better, or it showed more action or more of what was going to happen. So I like the explanation of Spectre, because they know they're like, well, you know, that guy Dave, 50 years, 60 years from now, he's kind of an idiot. He's not really going to be able to explain it. So we'll put it in here just for him, for him and JT. The JT guy's pretty smart. Dave, we're not too sure about it. So they put it in there. Then they turn around and do that damn cannonball shit. And I'm like, oh, come on. That's literally how I felt about it when I was like, this is total, like you said, Joker stuff. And like, don't do this, because you know what we said about doing these new runs. We'll give it 3 or 4 or 5, but we're not beholden to have to do the whole run, especially with Halloween.
Right. Yeah.
You know, just because it's 10 issues doesn't mean now JT and I are always under the keep the continuity going. We'll take breaks if we have, or, you know, if we have life stuff that, you know, obviously gets in the way of something, or a big holiday. But JT and I have discussed this many times. How's our time? We got 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's only because I got to keep spare time for my Thursday nights, which, by the way, I'm doing Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark tomorrow night at 9. If you guys want to come by. That was a request. I did a request. Yay. War movies. I think I'll do Temple of Doom next week because it's already queued up, and then I can look into some more movies. But most of my stuff is on Blu-ray. Like, you know, I was going to do the uncut director's version of Apocalypse Now. But holy cow, that's like a 3-hour movie. I would have to drop a movie night because I wouldn't be able to stream. I'd run out of my 20 hours doing that movie.
Oh, sure.
And like I said, StreamYards wants at a discount $431.88. And I was thinking about doing it, but yeah, in 2 hours is, I think it was really good for the time. Oh, you mean the comic?
Yes.
They are slowly revealing his powers. Yes, buddy. But I'll point out to you, they came out swinging for the most part in issue number 1 with the whole time travel type thing, that he can open up a time vortex and go chase other ethereal characters through time. That's a hell of a power to be able to have. And how independent. Yes. And buddy, that's one of the good things I really do like about it. And I didn't want to give it a C because of it. And I mentioned it during the show. I like how Spectre and Jim interact with each other so far, that they kind of just hang out as buddies. I did wish that, what was it, the car scene where Jim didn't show a lot of emotion? Was that the one I said that he wasn't mad? Because I got really confused about that whole where they were. You had to set me straight about they were the commissioner was at the show.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So it was the car scene that Jim didn't show a little. He wasn't pissed off about what just happened. He's just like way laid back. I don't want to say a human guy that laid back. He just got fucking suspended, and he doesn't really say much about it other than, you know, I'm like, no, man, you like that damn Spectre shit, dude. I'm gonna get fired, man. You know, just one line like that. So, I do like how Neil or the writers are doing the interaction between them. But I'm going to be honest with you, JT, and I think you're going to say the same thing, although you might be a little more lighthearted on it than I am. If they start pulling this cannonball stuff more, I'm going to be like, nah.
Yeah.
I didn't come to the Spectre for this shit. I didn't know a lot about Spectre. I said it last week, but I knew kind of enough, especially I'm really interested in moving on to Hal Jordan, because then we can get some Green Lantern fans in here. But this is the first, Jim Corrigan is the first guy. So we, you know, I'm not going to jump into a character like Spectre, which a lot of people don't know. Most people do in the DC, in the comics world. But he's kind of like a lot of characters like Mephisto. I've heard of Mephisto. I just don't know. I'll just be honest with people. I don't know much about him. There's too many characters out there, especially Marvel characters, where people can just ramble on 1,000 X-Men characters, and I know about 10.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead, JT.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's kind of the stuff about some of those long running things, like you have the X-Men or some of that stuff, where I'm just, how long is it going to take you to jump in before you feel like you can talk on that intelligently? And if the answer is like 300 hours of reading comics, I just, no thank you.
Yeah, no thank you.
No thank you.
No, thank you. So you can start. The reason why we picked this one, because it was an introduction. I don't think you and I were really aware that Spectre went into the 40s. I did not know.
I did not. When you threw that out there and it piqued my interest, I looked to see where the oldest one was, and it's like, ooh, 1940s. That's a little further back.
Yeah,
than I think we wanted to go.
Yeah, and I think that's pre-code type stuff, but that character, well, you can see what the readers have said in those letters.
Yes.
Last issue, some people like the fact that he's back, some people don't. It's to be expected. And I would urge people to go back and read that guy's letter from the show. I don't have a time. Damn it. I should have time stamped it. But how are we doing on time? About 4 minutes. So that was an excellent letter. And the interview with Spectre and Neil Adams is kind of funny too. So JT, real quick, what do you got going on this week?
Sure. So tomorrow, I have on call, but I may be checking out your Indiana Jones stream. We'll see. Yes, no. And then I hopefully will also be late night after your movie is done on the Great Admiral Teague's Strange New Lows episode review. We've only got 2 episodes left, and I think my blood pressure will hold out for the last 2 episodes. So, yeah, hope to see you there tomorrow. And then, well, here and there tomorrow, Friday night, I will be doing some Mark D with the C, late night Fortnite. And then Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, I will be on the Great Admiral Teagues again, doing some Saturday Star Trek fun stuff with Enterprise. We are nearing the end of season 3, which means we're nearing the end of the Zindi, love it or hate it. So things are coming to a head over there. So yeah,
the Zindi arc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Would love to catch people over at all of those. We'll have a great time at all of them. I know we will. So and then coming up almost a week from today, next Tuesday, I'll be hanging out with the Dad Man, talking some sports ball at 9 p.m. So that's always fun, even if you aren't a big sports ball person.
I'm a Ruby Rod. There's Dad Man. Ruby Rod for you, JT.
Lord.
Corbin, my man.
One of these days, Dad Man, straight to the moon.
Oh, I love Ruby Rod, dude. So everybody,
and next Tuesday you'll get to see me further ahead of Dad Man in our weekly predictions. So it's a don't miss show next week.
Yeah, there's Dad Man there with the Ruby Rod smashing it on you. Fifth Element. Oh, I don't have it. It's on Blu-ray. I can't do it. I would have already done Fifth Element. I can tell you that much. I love that movie. On Blade Runner, I've only got Blade Runners on Blu-ray. That's probably my number one. We'll talk about that later. So, so we got like 2-3 minutes. It's only 1 week. Yes, that is. And then there was one thing, Jerry Grandetti's version. Yeah. So Matthew Pounder, there's a bunch of versions. I was well aware that there was a bunch of versions after 67. So I think some in the 80s, and then new stuff. I probably would never even look at that unless somebody told me to. And then I would love to see, well, I'm going to hold off and see how well they do the rest of this run, JT, because like I said, and really quick, if they start this cannonball stuff nonsense every issue, it's going to be a short run.
Yeah, we'll be changing it up if we keep getting cannonball.
And then I'm going to ask the chat, if this starts to go off and making it Joker and campy, that what versions would they like to see 40s, maybe it's the 80s or 90s or whatever other ones that came out was better.
Right.
That it was more hardcore. Because if it gets campy, I'm gonna want more hardcore Spectre. Now, like you said, it doesn't have to be One Punch Man. I like the fact that he is having trouble with some of these enemy guys. They seem to make a point of it, don't they?
Yeah.
The writers. They seem to be going out of their way to make a point, so much so that I almost said, well, he's not even using his powers that much this issue at all. He's used a little fire trick, and he had to smash the diamond thing, the ruby up against the diamond to get out of that situation. He couldn't use any power, his magical powers, right? So
right.
I didn't like that too much, but it did show that he's a thinker. So you could say, well, Dave, he used his mind, he used his regular ghost brain instead of his ghost powers. And it's like, well, that's an excellent point as well. But I was just going off the fact that I wanted to see him.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, for me, tomorrow night at 9 is Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I almost spoiled alert, but I think everybody here has seen it. Maybe about 5 or 6 times.
Probably.
So, melting face. And then Friday night, Fortnite with Mark, if I can make it.
Yeah.
Awake. And my hours are so weird that I don't know, I could be awake at 2:00 playing Fortnite, or I'm out cold. I have no idea. Saturday, you've got Star Trek. Oh, and tomorrow night, Star Trek. But that's Strange New Worlds.
Yep.
I'll stop by and say hello.
Sure.
And then Saturday, you got Star Trek. And then Sunday, I tried to, there was no, Mark, the Geekery.
He should be back on his regular schedule with the Geekery.
Geekery. Yeah. He'll be back on regular schedule, as far as we know, about 10 Eastern.
Does that mean you're making an appearance?
I hope to. I was going to go this week, but he didn't do it because it was the holiday. I was like, oh shit, that's right, it's a holiday, so he didn't have one because I haven't been on like a month, 3-4 weeks at least. So I'm like, ooh, okay, all right. And then I know we've got to roll out of here. We're at our 2-hour mark. So thank you everybody. Matthew Pounder, excellent stuff. Dad man for coming in, and then. Oh, he said, well, on that note, I need to go back to bed. Yeah, we were trying to keep it at 2 hours now. So Matthew Pounder, Dad Man, Buddy Hepburn, yes, excellent stuff today. You and Matthew knocked it out with FKHC 2005. Great comments. And JT, thank you as always. I always forget to actually thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I almost take it for granted at this point. I guess don't hold it against me. And one more, I always forget. There it is. The collector and the co-pilot. Thank you for popping in. There's still 4 people watching, not counting us. So there's a couple people hanging out. Is Dadman doing a show right now? Dadman? No, he's going to bed.
He did earlier. He's going to bed now.
He's going to bed. Okay. Then I don't know who all's out there besides, I don't know, maybe
that's why you have to like and subscribe, folks. So that way you catch the latest.
Yeah, hit that like button, everybody, please. And I would appreciate it. But everybody here is pretty much already subscribed. So on that note, I think I did get everybody. JT and I have to do some talk behind the scenes. So thank you very much again. Love you. Have a good night. Hopefully see you tomorrow night and the rest of the week. Take care.
Bye all.